Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Walter, and I'm gonna give a couple more minutes to the rest of the people to come in. I am super happy to see you all here. Thank you so much for making time every day to do this webinar with me. I want to make it as interactive as possible. So please feel free to post any questions on the chat. This is a collection of experiences that we put together over the last 5 years, kind of learning how to maneuver and working through LinkedIn. I really hope that this is something that helps you guys drive some business to you and really help you with the sales process. So please feel free to post any questions. There's nothing out of the question here. Hopefully I can answer all of them, okay? I'm gonna make it super interactive, so I'm gonna just launch a quick poll there. So if you guys don't mind putting in, do you currently use LinkedIn as part of your sales process, right? And this is something that's very interesting to me because this past year, actually, we started to get big success in LinkedIn. And so I really hope that the information I'm going to share with you today, it's helpful to you. And I'm sharing the results there. Some people are saying that they do and they don't, and it's kind of like what I expect. And, you know, honestly, LinkedIn is such a great tool. We just need to leverage it correctly. So I'm going to give you some pointers, and some of those pointers is what we're going to cover today. So I'm going to show you how to increase your MRR by using LinkedIn. I'm going to show you the rules of engagement. And yes, there are some really important rules that you cannot violate. By the way, I have my sidekick here, Stephanie, with me. She'll be reading the chat. So as you post your questions, she will be reading them off to me. LinkedIn Canvassing 101, I'm going to actually give you a playbook of experiences that we put together. I started tracking my interactions on LinkedIn since, I want to say, 2018, probably a little bit earlier than that. And I just there was really nothing out there that shows you how to interact on LinkedIn. And I started just doing A and B testing, right? So what I'm going to share with you today is what I've put together based on my experiences, what worked, what didn't. And so hopefully that will help you quite a bit. We'll talk briefly about LinkedIn Sales Navigator. I still think that a lot of us don't use LinkedIn Sales Navigator as much as we should. And it's a great tool. And we're going to talk about Binox. What is Binox MSP? How do we help the MSP market to drive more business? And more importantly, how we use our browser extension that we created to help you with that. It's an incredible tool that is part of our intention and why we built the product is to help you drive more business. And we'll open it up for Q&A. So we'll have some fun and we'll go through it. So a little bit about me. So I am a graduate of Columbia Business School. I am an MSP just like you guys. So we've been doing technology services since 2009 in the New York, Long Island area. And we're proud to be here and have the most documented Google reviews than any IT company in New York combined. And so for the last 25 years, we've been serving our community. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we get customers. By the way, this is a series of webinars that we will be doing. So stay tuned for more of these webinars that we'll be posting online. The invites, the first one today is about LinkedIn and how to leverage LinkedIn. We're actually going to do one about CRMs and why they're kind of useless unless you have the right information and data in them. And we're also going to do why data in 2021 going into 22 is probably the most important thing you should be concerned about. And how you source that, it's really a big deal. And it can make or break your marketing process and therefore have better results. So why use LinkedIn? Let's get into it. So a little background on LinkedIn. It turns actually 18 today. I mean, this year. And a lot of us feel like it's been there forever, but it's really, you know, it's really not that old. And there's 722 million members on LinkedIn. And it's really one of the largest social networks. I saw the transition on LinkedIn before Microsoft acquired them, and I saw how it actually became almost like a Facebook at some point. And right now, some people use it for good, and like Facebook, some people use it for bad. So hopefully today we'll give you some pointers to use it for good and grow your business. There is a lot of people active on LinkedIn. I think the majority of business professionals are now posting or active on LinkedIn. I think a lot, it's very rare now. It used to be where almost nobody had a profile set up. Now it's almost rare to see a profile that's not set up or it doesn't have a good picture or something, right? There are about 90 million senior level influencers on LinkedIn. That should give you an idea about how many leads we can get from there and why we have such a success with them. But there are some rules and things that we have to follow. Okay. So canvassing on LinkedIn, I'll give you some of the top rules of engagement that we've used that have given us massive results and that I hope that you follow as well. Number one, never, ever, ever sell on LinkedIn. Okay, that it's a no-no. I see a lot of people do that and it's a big turnoff, and we'll tell you exactly how to engage with people, but never, ever directly pitch and sell on LinkedIn. Try to engage and build a rapport. That's number two. I mean, I think a lot of people are trying to use it like a dating app, but it's really not that interaction. It's more of a professional interaction. As professionals, we like to be engaged appropriately. And so for that reason, there's a certain way to do that, and we'll show you in a little bit. Number three, provide good, relevant content. You know, I see a lot of people, and again, I'm not knocking anybody. I think it's great that people post and things, but you know, I'm big on, if I'm going to put something out, it has to be of high quality. It has to show who I am, why I do what I do. And it kind of has to show the kind of company you'll be engaging with. If I do a video out of my car, it's kind of like, you know, in the IT business, we used to go up against other MSPs, and the first lines we would tell people is like, hey, you know, if you're working with a guy that's working out of his car kind of thing. And so I think the same concept applies here, guys. If we are putting content on LinkedIn, should be good, relevant, professional content. Okay, and be consistent, right? I see people that try to go on LinkedIn, they post one thing, and then for a long time they don't post. So consistency actually grows a lot of the things that we do, and you know, that's how we've been able to engage with so many people. It's because Stephanie is quite consistent on posting on LinkedIn, asking people to review and like, and so we'll show you some of that. Great. So number one, do not ask for anything, right? So do not ask the contact to take a look at your profile or your website, right? That's not the first engagement you want to have. Here's an example of something we don't do. I see here somebody asking me to go and look at their profile. I mean, look, we're all professionals here, but from just think about it from an egotistic point of view, this just doesn't drive me to take action, right? Doesn't make me feel good. And if we know anything about sales, it's about how we feel about the person. I'm actually writing a book right now about how to engage on Zoom because the sales process have changed drastically post-pandemic. And the reality is that we're just not really adhering to it. We still want to do things the old way. And yes, you could have done this in a different way before, but now in 2021, you know, I have to feel good to engage with you before I even do anything. Even if I just want to talk to you, I kind of want to feel good about who I'm talking to. So this is something we don't do, and you shouldn't either. Do not sell on LinkedIn. I keep saying that. I'm probably going to say it 100 times on this webinar. But as you can see here, this is a company trying to sell me on IT staffing services. I mean, I could tell you, I mean, the first wording, offshoring, right? And other things that people put on there that think that there's a lot of stuff that you may think is relevant to the conversation, but it may not be relevant to the person, right? So adding offshoring, adding the sale without even, you know, it's my team always, when we're having conversations with my sales team, we're always talking about the interaction, how to build a rapport, and how to connect with people, right? Because at the end of the day, believe it or not, we're still selling to humans. And so I tell, there's a lot of young people on my team. So I tell them, look, it's like dating, right? You're not going to go on a date. You first have to hold hands, then you're going to kiss, right? And then you're going to buy them ice cream, or the other way around. But it's an engagement process, and then you have to step one step at a time rather than just going for the kill where, you're just shooting from the hip, so to speak. So do not sell on LinkedIn, please. And so the main thing, and I keep saying this to my team, is to build rapport, right? So how do we build rapport? And we follow that in the sales process. Simple. We just be a nice human. Be polite. Thank them for the connection. Let them know if the company's doing great. Better yet, if they're not doing great. And what do I mean by that? Well, you know what? I check people's websites before I engage, or I check their profiles. And I saw a guy had misspelled his company's name on his LinkedIn profile. So my first engagement was, hey, John, I just want to introduce myself, blah, blah, blah. And just want to let you know, I'm not sure if you knew this, but your LinkedIn profile had a misspelling. So no big deal. It's a connection. It's a human interaction. They actually became a customer. So if they will engage on a quick call to get to know you better, you want to see if they will actually connect at some point. And we'll go through that process, and we'll give you some tips on that. At the end of this webinar, we're actually sending my playbook on how I did it. So you'll have step by step. You don't have to take notes now, but let them know who you are and what you do. Don't try to be, don't try to hide what you do and try to play games. Just be honest, right? And again, don't sell yet. So here's an example. People ask me all the time, so Walter, can you give us some examples? Sure. Here's an example of a focus industry. And again, I don't know what industries you guys are in, but here's an example of a focus industry webinar connection that I sent. So I'll say something like, hey, John, thanks for connecting. I was reviewing your LinkedIn profile yesterday afternoon, and I was super impressed by what your company does in our community. I specialize in working with people like you. Just wanted to connect, right? So, or in this case, I was actually sending a webinar invitation for something that is extremely relevant to them. I'm not selling, I'm informing, I'm educating, and if they get in my webinar, they'll get even further educated. So it's a way to be kind to people as well. And this has actually worked extremely well for us, right? So here's another example. Hey, thanks for connecting. And again, here's the thank you, right? You always have to be polite. So I was reviewing your LinkedIn profile, and I always send a connection with a note, right? So, and I love what your company's doing. I have a few ideas. And then the person, I asked them if they have 5 minutes. Because of the way I asked, because it's relevant information, because my website reflects that I work with their businesses, it's a very simple interaction. They're just like you, right? If you see somebody's message on LinkedIn, you probably check their profile, and you probably check their website afterwards. So they're no different than you. So put yourself in their shoes and make some better engagements there. The follow-up, we have a series of sequences that we follow. We have the introduction, then we have we have 3 to 4 sequences that we follow. Again, we try not to be annoying. We try not to sell you. So don't assume, by the way, just because they haven't replied to you, our egos get the best out of us, and we'll be like, oh, these people don't want to talk to us, blah, blah, blah. The truth of the matter is that they're busy just like you are. And for that reason, they may not have seen the message. Maybe they don't have somebody that sees their message for them. Maybe they're too busy closing tickets and doing some other stuff, dealing with customers. So don't assume that they're not replying to you because they're not interested, right? So remind them politely and follow up. So here's an example. I'm not sure if you see my previous message regarding an invitation to a webinar I'm hosting on how to secure your agency management software. Again, I focus in the insurance industry, so this is what I do, okay? And I'm known for that in my community, by the way. So I just want to make sure you don't miss it, right? Again, empathy. I'm connecting. I'm being helpful. I'm educating. Would it be helpful if I send you a summary of what we will be covering? You will be surprised how we actually started doing the statistics on how many people replied on the first engagement, second engagement, and last engagement that looks very much like this. And most people reply to this one. because you're being kind, reminding them, and then there's something relevant for them. Okay. And again, here's another example. I'm not sure if you've seen my previous message regarding a potential collaboration. And you don't have to be specific. I mean, I would love for you guys to really be specific about your industries that you target. And I would love for you guys to really focus on, one or two industries to be the expert for that. But some of us do others, right? And so you might be targeting a different group. And again, you can be a little more generic. And again, the follow-up, right? Don't assume if people are in LinkedIn, they're not responding, just follow up. Okay. I use some FOMO, and I don't know how many of you guys know what FOMO stands for, but I use the fear of missing out. And it's not it's not a tactic. It's just a matter of making people realize that they may need you, right? They may need it. We're in the cybersecurity business, so a lot of the stuff that we do, we want to help people not get breached, right? Yes, we want to make money. Yes, we want to make sales. But at the end of the day, this is our community, right? These are businesses where people are working that are part of our community. So for us, it's a bigger mission. But I use a little bit of FOMO here too. Didn't get the target to respond. So I use something like, this will be my last message. Okay, some people respond, some don't. But some people may have it in the back of their heads that they've been meaning to talk to you. And this is the last message. And if you're not messaging them anymore, they feel some fear of missing out. So I don't want to come across as a salesperson. It's a sentence I use as well, because I want them to know that I am a professional, that I am a trusted advisor, and I'm not just trying to push a product down their throat. That's how I do sales, by the way. And this has worked phenomenal for us, phenomenal. So, and again, here's an interaction. You can actually see how people react to it. Sorry, I didn't see the message. Sure, no problem. When can we sit down and talk, right? So, and we do believe on small commitments, by the way. So for us, it's first a really quick phone call to introduce ourselves, and it can move from there. It could be a phone call or a Zoom. In today's sales process, I haven't left my office in a year and a half, and we close more business than ever before. But we're using Zoom, we're using calls, and we'll on the series of webinars, we'll have more on that. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about Binox and why this tool is so incredible. And I'm going to share my screen to tell you a little bit about the platform. So Binox MSP was created to fulfill the need of searching for highly qualified leads. And inside of our app, you can search by anything you want. You can search by company names, domain names, locations, zip codes, radiuses, employee size, revenue. You could do by industry types, SIC codes, you name it. You could do searches by anything you want, okay? Today, just to keep it short, I'm going to just bring up a quick domain just to kind of show you what it is that we do. And when you search for leads inside of our platform, you get what we call human verified leads, which are represented by a human, and machine verified leads, which are represented by this robot. When I expand this human verified lead, let's just say this is one of my target markets, you could actually see a lot of information on this lead. All of our leads have emails, and they have been verified by a human. These are 95% accurate. So these are already scrubbed, ready to go, ready to be put into the marketing campaigns. Why I'm showing you this is because if I don't show you this, it won't make sense what I'm about to show you inside LinkedIn. So we source leads, super highly qualified. In many instances, you'll have mobile numbers, and you're going to have all the information for these companies. The most incredible part of our tool is that we integrate with most MSP's products. So PSAs, ConnectWise, AutoTask, you name it, we integrate with them. CRMs, Keep, Infusionsoft, whatever you want to call it, Zoho, HubSpot, we integrate with them. And the beautiful thing is that you source your lead inside of Binox, and you can send directly to the CRM as a marketing campaign, and you can directly put it on deck to that marketing campaign. You could also send it directly to your PSA and put it as an opportunity, right? You can do a lot of things with Binox. that are in it, that are integrations with the MSP tools. It's really what separates us from any lead provider. And the fact that we have 95% human verified data, right? That's a huge deal for a lot of people that are wasting money. So let's talk about how we operate. So we created this Google Chrome extension. Actually, it's not just Google; it's for Edge too. And if you're on the website, let's say anybody's website, doesn't matter who, and you click on our Chrome extension is going to go out and get the information who is in that organization, right? So it's going to tell you, sometimes you might get a form fill on your website, but it's probably the office manager or someone else that filled that out, right? And what you really want to target is maybe the president or the CEO of that company. With our tool, you can actually go look at that and send directly to your PSA or CRM and put directly into a marketing campaign with 2 clicks, right? So that's a huge, powerful tool about how to find data. We did the same thing on LinkedIn, by the way. So if you look at, for example, my friend William here, who has given me permission to use his name, you can see his name here, but a lot of the times you are canvassing on LinkedIn. This is something we found with our process on LinkedIn. And we noticed that, yes, we had the person, we were interacting with them, but not everybody has their profile open. So what we do now is if you click on our Chrome extension, you have the ability to see the person's complete information. So I can be in a chat with somebody and they say, sure, Walter, I'd like to learn more about your voice over IP product, right? Or anything, your cybersecurity product. And I can go from a conversation on LinkedIn to clicking on William here, sending him to an on-deck marketing campaign. And with 2 clicks, I put him directly to go into that campaign. So now my appointment setters have it on their dashboard so they can start calling to follow up on that. He already got emails from me saying, hey, thanks for chatting with me on LinkedIn. Here's my voice of IP product PDF that you requested. Whatever your method is, it's all part of the process. Now, the key here is that you cannot do any of that unless you have the right data. So, and that's where Binox MSP, so that's why Binox is so powerful, because we source the right data to you, and then you can just send it to your PSA or CRM. I'm going to pause here for a quick second, Stephanie, before I get into Sales Navigator. Are there any questions on the chat that I should be addressing?
Yes, hold on just 1 minute. We have one that says, what does MRR stand for?
Sure, and thank you, Rick, for that. So MRR is monthly recurring revenue, and it's a very common term for just recurring rev. Let me see. Are there any more?
Yes, we have a couple more. Let me just check over here. Okay, so we have one that's saying, are you saying that if I use Binox to visit someone's website, I get the information of people inside that organization, all of their data?
That's correct. So an example here was me going into my friend William's website. And when you click on the Chrome extension, it tells you who do we have as human verification and who do we have as machine verified. So all that information is on here, and it's the same information we have on the platform. So it just displays on the web browser. I see a question here from Brent Fairbanks. Everyone gives the search capability. Is the accuracy of the data. Never seen a list that's more than. Yeah, and I'm sorry to hear that, Brent, and we're going to talk about that, by the way, and mostly in the next webinars, but I'll address it here. The problem with a lot of these, what I will call traditional lead searching methods, Data Axle, Dun & Bradstreet, you probably have some experience with that, is that their lists have been collected for the last 50 years. So a lot of that data isn't accurate. I meet with an average of 5 MSPs per day for the last 6 months. And I can tell you that about 90% of them, the first thing they tell me is how poor the data out of these sources are. And I know it too, by the way, because I cleaned thousands of lists in the past while using those products. So I'm sorry to hear that you had that experience, but I can tell you ours is very different. Brent has another question. For all but one customer of mine, I needed to get the confidence of an office manager, not the owner. Yeah, and again, there are cases we actually, when it comes to large law firms in New York, we don't go after the partner, right? We go and ask for the office manager, the person that's having the problem. So again, Brent, it really depends on the marketing. If you want to talk offline about that, I'm happy to talk to you about it. That will be more of how you process that and who your target market is. So, but those are great questions. Thank you so much. Stephanie, any more questions?
Yes, we have more. One is, well, Colin is asking, is your Binox data available in Canada?
We have some data on Canada. I can tell you that is not as accurate as our American data, but a lot of our friends, MSPs in Canada, are having great success with them. And that's kind of why I give you the free trial, by the way, is because I want you to try it. I want you to look at the data. I want you to do searches, and I teach you how to do it. That way, if it works for you, then it's a big win. I'm gonna move on to Sales Navigator a little bit, guys. I think us MSPs, my experience has been that we don't really leverage Sales Navigator quite a bit. And it's a great way. I mean, look, you could always build lists from Binox, right? And source your exact target market. You can put an SIC code. You could even go by industries that you service and things like that. But in Sales Navigator, you have the ability to create lists, right? You might go out and say, you know what, I'm going to create a list for architects in my area, and you start finding. Again, LinkedIn data is not always 100% accurate. Some people are as good as me to update it. Some people leave their jobs and never change it. So you can't go by everything that's in there. But the beautiful thing about Binox is that our Chrome extension works within Sales Navigator. So in Sales Navigator, you have all this information, and this is great, right? You have the beginning of it, but this isn't near what you need to market these people, right? You can send in-mail messages, which again, the percentage of people who open their emails in Outlook versus the percentage of that open their LinkedIn profile messages are very small, right? Outlook, you will always keep up with your emails in Outlook. So a lot of this, the times when we were engaging with people here, they wouldn't get those email messages. So there's no way, even if they're a good target, there's no way to put them into our marketing machine. So what we did is we created a Chrome extension to work with Sales Navigator. We spent 3 months creating this thing. It was one of the hardest things to build because the way Sales Navigator communicates with the world is very different than actual LinkedIn. There's like 2 completely different products. So, but what you can do with a Chrome extension is when you click on it, Binox is going to go out and search on our database for those people. And then the results are going to come back. And you see here, Chris, for example, I now have all of his information. So if I was to mark, if this was a great list I built, I could just click on here and send him or her to my on deck marketing campaign and start the process for my co-managed IT or whatever I'm selling to this particular prospect, right? So an extremely powerful tool. I'm gonna get back to. So this is basically what I was telling you guys before about the LinkedIn profiles and how we do that. Any questions, Stephanie, before I get into our offer for this webinar?
Yes, we have a couple of more. I have one that says, do you support ConnectWise?
Oh, yes, we do. So for all MSPs, we support the major PSA. So when you click on send to PSA, a lot of us use either ConnectWise Sell for the quoting or Quozo for quoting, right? So when you send this to, when you send this to the PSA, basically what we do is you can directly go and put them directly into an opportunity. So here's how it goes. Typical conversation. Hey, John, I see you're interested in our VoIP product and, would you like a proposal? right? So they say, you know what, I'm interested. I would like to propose. So in the past, you will have to manually go input that information. Maybe you didn't have all of it. So with us, you can just click on send to the PSA. When you create that opportunity, by the way, we give you all of your PSA settings. So this will be coming from your PSAs. Mine are different, right? Because I set them up differently. Yours might be different. So company types, I can put like prospect, the contact is a decision maker or whatever, which territory I have, who's my salesperson, which market am I in, all the stuff that I need to be able to create the contact, the company, and the opportunity will be created here. So I just save you a ton of time. And if you click on this and save it, I'm not going to save it because I have them on my database. You can literally go to your PSA and it will be in your opportunities. So if you use Quozo or ConnectWise Sell, you just grab that opportunity, quote it, and send it right back down with the products and services you provide. That will be another demo we'll do one day, Stephanie. I think it will be great to actually go to the entire MSP quoting process and how we do it. But are there any, I hope that answers the question, by the way.
Yes, we have more.
Okay.
So we have one that is asking about Keep. Do you support CRMs as well as Keep?
Brent, yeah. Thanks, Brent, for that question. Yeah, absolutely. So our Keep integration, I will say it's probably the strongest integration we have. And it's mainly because I use Keep. So I want to make it better. But I actually, you know, I'm working with Soho is done. And I think Rick, who's on the call right now, is one of our friends who's using it. And so, but the Keep integration is kind of neat because I can send this as an opportunity to Keep. And again, to create an opportunity, you're always going to need the company, the contact, and the opportunity, right? So we create all three. You can send just the company and the contact. Maybe they're not ready to do anything with you right now. Maybe they're not ready to engage in the campaign, but you want them on your database. You can put that. But the one that most people use is like to put on deck for marketing campaign, right? And the idea behind it is that you can select all of the tags. By the way, we support tagging. So if you have a tag in Infusionsoft that triggers that campaign, you can put that on there. You know, you can select the person type, where it came from. And so that deep, tight integration we keep, it's really amazing. We got tons of feedback on that. And I hope that answers your question.
Yes, we have more coming. So one is saying how many contacts in your database? Not sure what that's related to.
Yeah, Matthew, I wish I could give you a number, but you're gonna have to do this while we do the free trial, because you're gonna have to do a search how many database contacts are in your territory. It is almost impossible because they're kind of getting fresh all the time. So there's millions and millions of companies, contacts, and all sorts of information. I suggest you just sign up for the free trial. You have nothing to lose, lots to gain, by the way, and try it. See what we have in your territories. If you're in the United States, I guarantee you that you're gonna have a ton of leads, human verified, which are already scrubbed. You don't have to touch them. You don't have to waste that time. And so the trial is 14 days, Brent, and we give you leads to try. So hope that helps. And we're gonna be posting the link right now that if you do sign up, we have a special offer for this webinar. We're
Yes,
giving
and we
away.
have one last one. Let me check. Yes, did you say that we can use our Chrome extension to get the corporate email addresses for Sales Navigator contacts?
That is correct. So if I'm in Sales Navigators, these are, again, a lot of these contacts do not have their information public. So although they are in Sales Navigator, our Chrome extension, when you click it, is going to give you that contact's information, all of it. So in this particular case, just give it a second because it goes through a lot of data, by the way. But in this instance, you'll see in a second that Chris, for example, we just got, right now you see it blocked because you haven't purchased it. But once you click on it and send it, you're going to have all the information for Chris, email address, phone number, mobile number, LinkedIn profile, all of the stuff you need to do your marketing campaigns. Any more questions, Steph?
No, we're good to go.
Awesome. So yeah, we have a special offer. Just go to the website, binoxmsp.com/webinar offer. Take advantage of that. That is a free trial, one-on-one onboarding. I work with you. My team will work with you. Most of the times I'm in these calls and I go one by one. I talk to you about your sales process. I talk to you about maybe making some tweaks, things that we've seen that work for a lot of people, including ourselves. And on top of that, we're giving you 2 months free. So sign up. It's a free trial. You have nothing to lose, lots to gain. And I really hope, and by the way, everyone that was on this webinar is going to get a copy of my LinkedIn playbook, and expect that at the end of this call. And I want to thank you, Stephanie, and everybody that made the time to come in. Thank you so much, guys.